on this matter before we vote on it tonight? Anyone? Okay, we'll close this public hearing and we'll open our meeting at 6:30. Thank you.
Candy must went to a dead zone today. We got 321.
We'll get to that.
You just clicked over and when I call you back, it went straight to voicemail. Oh, really? There's a dead zone on 321. How do we go through?
When you first said, you can hear me, I figured it was. But when the next, I come up, and there was another one. I think that was pretty cool.
Okay. To the bike, here for like
Please sign in on the sheet.
They said somebody on the beach. Going 900 miles.
Normally pitchers can't bat. Normally pitchers can hit.
But he said he was down there. He called and told me, he said, you can't do that.
If I can have your attention, we'll call the Loudon City Council meeting for May to order. It's my distinct privilege tonight to introduce two of our special guests, Reverend Brian Courtney, First Baptist Church, Philadelphia. Me and him go way back together. I was telling Chief back there, from trout fishing to Tellico to rough 21 out in the driveway. You know, we've played some basketball and had some good times together. I really appreciate Brian and his leadership, First Baptist Church Philadelphia in our community, and his family history here in our community. Many of you might remember Bernard Courtney, one of the finest men I've ever known, and I think many people would share that concern. Brian is right along with his father, man of integrity, leading his church and community. We thank him for that. And to me, my personal opinion, the cutest little second grader around, Hallie Kate Presley, is going to do our Pledge of Allegiance. So that's a good introduction right there. So we'll start with that. We'll ask everyone to stand. Brian will lead us in the invocation, and we'll have okay, Brian.
Dear wise and loving God, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here this evening. And thank you for all of your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health that we all need to fulfill our callings, for friendship between all of us. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work, for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thank you as well for the freedom to embrace you, for the freedom to reject you. And thank you for loving us even so, from your boundless and gracious nature. In the scriptures, you have said that citizens of nations ought to pray for their governing authorities, since you have established those very authorities to promote peace and order and justice. Therefore, I pray for our mayor, for the various levels of city officials, and in particular for this assembled council. And I am asking that you would graciously grant them wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, and the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, and personal peace in their lives and joy in what they do. And I pray for the agenda set before them this evening. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Loudon. It is in your blessed name I pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. Hallie, if you'll join me up here in the front. Go around this way. Right up here. Here's your flag and a pen. This has your name in there. It's probably more for your parents than you. Okay? That's a pen. Let's have our picture made right here, okay?
Got it.
All right. Thank you. Okay, roll call of our attendance, please.
Mayor Harris,
Here.
Vice Mayor Dixon,
Here,
Councilmember Vivens. Here. Councilmember Brewster.
Here.
Councilmember James.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to the monthly meeting of the Loudon City Council. My name is Mayor Jeff Harris. On behalf of the council and the staff, I want to welcome you here tonight. Tennessee law gives every Tennessean the right to attend city council meetings and to observe how their government does business. We appreciate that each of you have taken time from your own personal schedules to be here tonight to see how our city government works. You should have a copy of tonight's agenda. If you don't have a copy, you can pick one up at the table here in the front of the room. This is your guide to the topics we're going to discuss. In order to conduct efficient, business-like meetings, the council has adopted specific rules to follow. Primarily, these rules are designed to keep the meeting moving. We need to also assure that all points of view are heard and considered and to provide for common courtesy. In a few minutes, we'll come to the place on the agenda entitled Citizens Input. For anyone who signed in to speak to council is encouraged to do so. We do, however, ask that you wait until you've been recognized before you speak. After being recognized, please approach the podium to address the council and observe 3 simple rules. At the beginning of your presentation, state your name for the records. Address all your questions to myself as the chairman, and avoid the use of improper language, profanity, or any other inappropriate conduct. Once this portion of the meeting is over, the council will proceed with the remainder of the agenda. You're welcome to stay and observe the meeting, but be advised that public comments may be limited. We ask that everyone remember we're doing the people's business here tonight. It's a very important responsibility for every one of us up here. Help us do this business by observing these simple rules that we've established. And again, I want to welcome everyone to our meeting tonight. Everyone has a copy of the agenda that was mailed out, and also you have one at your seat. We have a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there any changes we need to make?
Make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, citizens input, we have one signed in, Mr. Eddie McAllister. Please approach the podium and address the council.
I noticed at the March Utility Board meeting that the utilities were selling their property for $150,000 an acre to Mr. Dover.
Mhm.
I think the citizens, especially the voting citizens and taxpayers of the city, need to know what the city is charging Mr. Dover for the Chair Factory property.
I think that's been submitted, I guess, to Mr. Dover through the EDA. They've been working with that.
Other words, we don't know yet.
All that's been,
Is it going to be made public when it is?
and Ross, and
Yes.
okay, all right, thank you. Okay, that was the only one that had signed in to speak. So the next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. We'll take these individually. We have minutes from April 26, 2021. All those were mailed out. Is there any questions? No, Attorney Fry's not here, but I'm assuming he did review them.
He did receive, these minutes via email, and, he had no objection to it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the regular meetings. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the next approval of minutes is for the special call meeting on May the 10th, 2021. Again, those were sent to Attorney Fry with no,
Make a motion.
okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll
second.
Okay, we have a second. Did you get that? Tammy?
Tie.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions about approval of minutes? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Next item on the agenda is a fuel bid, May 6, 2021. The low bid for the purchase of fuel was received from Rogers Petroleum LLC for the projected amount of $17,482.25. That breaks down to be unleaded gasoline at $2.28 and low sulfur undyed diesel at $2.05.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the fuel bid for Rogers Petroleum. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions about the fuel bid? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, we've got quite a few ordinances here. One on second reading, which establishing the speed limit, Corporate Park Drive and a section of Bearmont Parkway at 40 miles an hour.
Make a motion.
Okay, we discussed this in workshop and 2 public hearings, so we have a motion from Councilman Brewster. We have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, second from Vice Mayor Dixon. Is there any questions about the speed limit, where it's gonna stop, start, and anything like that? Okay, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Brewster.
Aye.
Councilmember Dixon.
Aye.
Councilmember Vivens.
Aye.
Councilmember James.
Aye.
Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries, thank you. Okay, these are on first reading, and we'll wait and set the public hearings at the end of, when we get all 4 of them approved on first reading. Okay, the first one is, providing for the provision of information technology internal service fund. Manager Ross, I'll let you turn it
Yeah,
over.
these next few ordinances and resolutions are connected, and the way that they're connected is for this year's budget. I've received input from many of you, if not all, and what we've done is we have styled these resolutions to be in accordance both with external requests for this year's budget as well as internal requests. And the first ordinance in front of you is the Information Technology Service Fund, and this is set up as a housekeeping measure. And I'll let Nicole go into a little bit more detail on it, but now we have a somewhat hodgepodge process of dividing up IT between the different departments, and there's not an adequate back and forth from an accounting perspective to track these funds, but I'll let her speak to that right now.
The purpose of this fund is just to better organize those costs. We all use email, we use computers and police cars, body cams. Those costs need to be appropriately accounted for and allocated to the departments. This works similar to the maintenance fund in that the maintenance department provides services for vehicles. This fund provides services for technology-related costs, and they are appropriated out to each department. So it is a housekeeping item.
So before this was just coming out of the general fund or department?
On an individual department basis.
This would be, I guess, a better way to track it.
Much better way to organize and
Yeah.
track those costs.
And capture those costs.
Yes.
Got a motion.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Brewster, we have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second from Councilmember Bivens. Any questions about, why we're setting this up? And I think Nicole has explained it pretty well. It's more of a housekeeping item than anything else. Okay, let's have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Brewster.
Aye.
Councilmember Bivens.
Aye.
Councilmember Dixon.
Aye.
Councilmember James. Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Thank you.
So that motion carries on first reading. The second one is amending the 2020-2021 fiscal year budget. So it's the end of year thing.
More housekeeping, you're correct, Mayor, it is end of the year, and this does take into account some state grants coming in. I'll let Nicole speak to the specifics of this budget amendment.
As Ty mentioned earlier, this just falls into our budget process. We estimate what our current year revenue and expenditures are. That provides a basis for our upcoming budget year. And this makes sure that our budget is tidied up like it should be. And we have all the funds appropriated as they should be. So these are,
And we do have a breakdown of that in your packet, if you want to take note of that. You can see them listed there.
in general, appropriations we have expended less money than was appropriated in the budget. And we have received more money than we expected to receive. But this makes the budget nice and neat for year-end purposes.
Okay, we have a motion to amend the
I'll make
2020.
the motion.
Okay, we have a motion for Vice Mayor Dixon. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second from Councilmember Bivens. This is to amend the 2020-2021 fiscal year budget. Any questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Dixon.
Aye.
Councilmember Bivens.
Aye.
Councilmember Brewster.
Aye.
Councilmember James. Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 3 is an ordinance of the city of Loudon, Tennessee, adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021, and ending 2022, June 30th, 2022.
Right. The way I'd like you to approach this is to entirely from the context of a first reading. And we will move on from this, and then we will take instruction from you. We will receive input from you on each of the resolutions that are listed beneath. You can think of it like a layer cake. The first reading of this budget, yes, all these resolutions are included inside of it. So as we tick down the list here, if one happens to fail to pass, it will simply be removed from your budget
Before the second reading.
before the second reading, so that it's all in line with exactly what you've requested.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt the 2021-2022 budget. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Again, to clarify what Manager Ross said, this is, everything that's listed tonight is included in that. and can be changed before second reading, so, based on council's wishes, with the rest of the agenda.
I do have a question before we do
Okay,
the
go
roll
ahead.
vote. I still don't have access to the ClearGov.
Did you receive an email earlier today?
I received about 5 emails from
You
everybody.
should have received several emails earlier today that I will
I did not,
confirm.
not unless they're going into some spam or something, so.
Yeah, I think the very first one had you set up an account or something like that, you change your password.
They'll ask you to change your password.
Okay, I have not seen that yet, so I'll check the spam folder and make sure, but I just checked it before.
It's easier to see it on ClearGov than on this.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it's so
Right.
much easier. So we'll get that, thanks for bringing it up, we'll get that sorted out. Any other questions about the budget that's proposed tonight, before we vote? Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Brewster,
Aye.
Councilmember Dixon, Councilmember Bivens,
Aye.
Councilmember James.
Aye.
Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries on first reading. Next item is setting the tax rate for tax year 2021.
Yes, your budget takes into account expenditures as well as revenues. The tax rate we're putting forward is the certified tax rate. It is a reduction in 14 cents from the prior year's rate, and it's at $1.09 and what are the additional
7
4 decimal points?
Yeah. And it is estimated at this point, and this is the latest information we have from the
Right.
property assessor.
And I think, the property assessor has explained the whole reappraisal and the tax rate and the purpose of that. And
So this is in no way couched as a tax increase. It's the certified rate after the reappraisal, and everything that's inside this proposed budget is within the $1.09.
1.0979.
Okay. Okay, have a motion to approve the tax rate?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the tax rate at 10979.
I'll
Do we have a
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussions? Again, this is on first reading. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Dixon,
Aye.
Councilmember Bivens,
Aye.
Councilmember Brewster.
Aye.
Councilmember James.
Aye.
Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Thank you.
So let's set the public hearings at 6:10, 6:15, 6:20, and 6:25.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll get into our resolutions. First is a resolution authorizing the issuance of general obligation capital outlay notes of the city of Loudon in one or more series in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $1.53 million, making provisions for the issuance, sale, and payment of said notes, establishing the terms thereof and the disposition of proceeds therefrom, and providing for the levy of tax for the payment of principal thereof and interest thereon. Sounds like King James Version.
All of this debt issuance is related to paving. It's the paving that was performed this past fall, as well as the paving that we have scheduled this paving season.
I make a motion.
I do want to add, the document in the packet references, some language about redemption prior to maturity, and it cites that anytime after June 1st, 2028, and that should be June 1st, 20 dash.
Oh, okay,
That will be amended.
okay, so just leaving that open.
From here, we have to send this resolution and letter to the comptroller for approval, and that's what will be sent to the
Okay.
comptroller.
All right, thanks for clearing that up. We have a motion, did we get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any questions, what this is regarding? I think we all know how important the paving plan is, and this helps support that. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carried. Next item is approving out-of-state travel. This comes up periodically, so.
And we've got a rule that requires permission from the council for city employees to travel out of state. And Chief Brubaker and Captain James both traveled to Wisconsin to view and approve the fire truck that's currently being manufactured by Pierce.
Let's vote this down so they have to pay their own way back.
Well, let's have one room, I think. One room, Mr. Harvey?
Yes.
Right answer.
I make a motion.
We have a motion. If you haven't seen the pictures of the fire truck, it's pretty impressive, so. We have a motion, we have a second. Okay, we have a second by Vice Mayor Dixon. Any questions? One question I have, are we gonna do the same kind of initiation when it comes here with, I forget what it's called, washing of the fire or something?
Yes.
What's the term?
Well,
Is there a term for that? That y'all do with it?
it's a dedication to
Okay.
the fire truck.
It's same as breaking a bottle of champagne over a boat or something like that, I guess. So it's- They pull it out and wash it. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item is the amending resolution number 2020-2021, amended pay classification plan, which was adopted June 2nd, 2020, to establish the position of information technology technician. Manager Ross?
Yes, we currently don't have the capacity to serve all city departments with their IT needs, whether it be in city patrol cars or on city desktops, phones. This resolution will authorize the addition of an IT professional to city personnel schedule for a position to be filled this upcoming budget year.
Okay, you do have a job description provided by Director Brown in your packet. He had those out, so if you have any questions about that, you can look over that.
This basically gives us our own IT person.
Pretty much, yeah, and I think we're just kind of sharing Steve right now, which Steve is
Yeah.
paid by the utilities, so,
I'll make the motion.
okay. We have a motion for this,
I'll second.
for this position to be established. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? As I say, the job description is listed there. I'm sure if you have any questions, Director Brown will be glad to answer them. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is, this is, as you can see, there's a lot of verbiage on this because there could be some questions here and some explanations are listed. Creation of a facilities and maintenance department. Manager Ross.
Yeah, to be consistent and for the record, we have a lot of people here that need to see and hear consistent words. So, in order to better align city services with city needs, a reorganization of the Parks and Rec Department and Public Works Department is recommended. There are three really good reasons to do this. First, this reorganization will free up the special sales tax originally dedicated in the 1990s for new park facility construction to be dedicated more specifically towards the purpose of, yep, you guessed it, new park facility construction. Currently, the vast majority of this special sales tax is spent on Parks and Rec operations, and little remains, or not enough remains, for the new facility construction that is desired. This is why we spent so much time wrestling with hard-to-fund items like the proposed community center. Because for decades, we've never set aside the special sales tax as we probably should have. By reorganizing staffing into the general fund under a new facilities and maintenance department, we can properly allocate taxes for facilities and maintenance staffing, i.e. operations, and free up the special sales tax dollars for the special purpose they were originally intended for. The second reason to accomplish this merger is to provide much-needed assistance to overall facilities and maintenance because Parks and Rec facilities and maintenance activities align hand in glove with Public Works facility and maintenance activities. Currently, the two departments do duplicate services, yet each claim to not have enough help. Putting them together makes good sense. To head this new department, we would promote Mark Carroll to the Director of Facilities and Maintenance. The final reason we want to accomplish this reorganization is to better align Michael Hogan, professional engineer, with his skill set so that he can fill the regulatory void that currently exists regarding land disturbance and stormwater management. Mr. Hogan would become the city engineer and provide regulatory oversight of all soil disturbing activities, including stormwater management, new street and and paving projects, as well as their impacted underground utilities. As an additional benefit, the city engineer will be able to perform project management activities during the construction of new city infrastructure, including select new utility infrastructure projects as assigned by LUB, which is why we propose that LUB pick up 25% of the city engineer's salary.
Okay, I know it's maybe a little uncomfortable sometimes to shift departments and combine departments and move people around. So, I want to ask, I know there's several workers here from Public Works, is there any comments you guys have you'd like to make at this time? Any questions or? Please feel free to speak if.
I have several that have been given to me, questions
Okay.
to ask from,
Or maybe they'll get answered then.
Right.
Okay,
I'll go ahead and make the motion,
Okay.
then we'll discuss.
let's, okay, we've got a motion, do we have a
I'll
second? We have a motion and a second, and go ahead, Tammy.
when you mean it'll free up the special sales tax, I don't understand how rearranging it frees up the special sales tax. Our salaries are staying, the same, Mr. Hogan's salary's gonna stay the same, Mr. Harrell's gonna get a raise, one of your Parks and Recs guys will be receiving a raise. So how does that free up the money? It sounds like there's gonna be more money spent.
It is a shifting of money around, from one space to another. And the shift takes place by allocating the special Parks and Rec penny, to a facility fund, which we're calling the Gatorade bottle. You know, we've got the ketchup bottle for healthcare. So this Gatorade bottle would slowly fill up, and actually it's gonna quickly fill up, so that we can accomplish our hopes and dreams. The money, let's say, Mark, let's talk specific, let's talk, Bill, let's talk Rick. Their salary and benefits will be transferred from currently being paid for by that penny to the general fund. That will diminish next year's projected surplus. And the diminished projected surplus will go into the Gatorade bottle.
We have talked about this, and this council alone has asked this several times, for there to be a special line item for that penny,
On your,
to get it out of that fund. I mean, there's plenty.
This accomplishes that desire.
on your budget ordinance, first page of the summary, there's the general fund. On the next page, the second page, is the recreation fund. And we are moving 3 people from the recreation fund to the general fund. And that, you will see the impact to the cash balance is an additional $369,000 that would go into basically a savings account in the recreation fund this upcoming year, would be $369,000.
When we get the special sales tax, what fund does it go into?
It goes into the recreation fund. Those sales tax dollars are committed to this recreation fund. They do not get commingled with the general fund.
And I guess in the past, they've been used to pay salaries and operations and things like that.
Well,
But that'll
that's
shift.
oversight.
Yeah,
That's
for
not
sure,
changing.
that's probably an oversight, and it's something that probably should have been changed.
The ordinance
Allows for it, yeah.
allows for the recreation fund to fund salaries for a recreation program.
Yeah,
What the idea put forward is to shift that recreation programming to the general fund and allow the recreation fund to grow to build infrastructure and not be paying operational costs out of it.
Within 2 to 3 years, we'll have enough built up in there that'll be security to go ahead and start the rec center.
Now, though, I do feel this could be accomplished without the merger of 2 departments. Because in my eyes, we've had this before. We've split these 2 departments. They were together. And we split them up because of the issues of the commingling of these departments. There were services that were lacking because these 2 departments were together. And we are gonna, I see this going backwards real quick, right back to where we were. Because, I mean, you say that these 2 departments align. And what are, I mean, you're duplicating services in the matter of, yes, our Parks Department picks up trash in the parks, they do that, and our Public Works picks up trash. It's quite a bit different, how they do that, and the requirements on that. That's not the same. Other than some facility maintenance that the Parks and Rec do on their own buildings, and Public Works does on every other building, there's not much that aligns. Those are the only two things that I can think of that these two departments are doing that are similar, and I would not call the trash pickup in the parks the same as the trash pickup in Public Works. It's quite a bit different.
Well, but when we reorganize it, we will definitely go to a work order system. That way we know where our money's going to, what department. And it'll be up to Mark Earl. If Mark Earl, if you can't get it running, we'll find somebody that will, but I believe you can.
I mean, that's been every two directors we went through, we still don't have work order system.
Right. And this will fix that.
I don't see that happening. I'd be shocked. What's gonna happen, I'm just going down my line of questions. What's gonna happen with special events? Who's working them?
Randy Law.
He's the only person?
Special events, see, we're not moving, all staff members from, the Parks and Rec into the general fund. Brooke, Rainey, and Jeff will remain in the Parks and Rec fund.
So they're the only three that will work special events?
There are 12 special events each year. If you throw in Christmas and then the events surrounding Christmas. And those are red letter days that have been etched in stone for a long time. They're basically routines.
Are they the three that's currently doing most of that now anyway?
Yes.
Ramey's our every food truck.
I mean, but I see Bill and Rick at all of them.
I'm just asking, I see them at a lot of them, Jeff and Ramey.
But will Brooke be taking the calls for the whole department?
Yes, Brooke's role doesn't change. It fields the call for a facility rental, schedules the day. We see the pool, we see
Yeah.
this building, we see parks, we see all this as facilities.
There's gonna be some growing pains, but when we get the bugs worked out, I think it's gonna be an excellent system.
So we got two departments that are short-staffed, we're gonna pull them together and they're not gonna be short-staffed anymore?
Well, there's one opening now that we can fill.
You know, we have every other department asking for employees coming down the line. And these departments ask for employees, and they've been said, nope, you all go together and you don't get any more employees.
Well, I think it's take this step first and then see if there's
There's gonna be
maybe more
bugs.
positions.
There'll be bugs, and if we have to hire somebody, we will.
You have
What
any
about,
questions, Tammy?
so you've got Bill and Rick that'll be moving over, they're the only two that'll move over. They'll be placed in Public Works,
Director Harold.
and Director Harrell, they'll be placed inside Public Works with everyone else.
Well, the day-to-day operation and who does what and how the work's divvied up, that will be performed by the director.
Mark, you can handle it, can't you?
Yes, sir.
You gonna go on snow calls, Mark?
Sure.
You heard it?
Any other questions you have? And did you get all your list there?
I think I'm probably the only one that didn't know about this beforehand, and I can see and understand why. But I found out about it on Friday, when the agenda rolled out.
On Friday's when I heard about it, so.
I've been dreaming about it for
No,
years.
no, that's all I got. Man.
What about the Public Works guys? Okay, Andy, go ahead.
I just wanna know if I'm gonna be working events. I don't wanna go come into work at 2 or 4 o'clock in the evening
Yeah, I understand that.
and go do something till 9 or 10 o'clock.
No, that's not the way it's gonna be lined up.
You guys know I'll do whatever you ask me to do, and I'll stand on my head if that's what you want me to do.
I think that's a legitimate question.
Randy Loudon,
I don't want to be the one that, and I'm sure these other guys don't either, we talked about this in
Sure.
the shop earlier, but that was kind of something that came up quite a bit.
I personally can't see their roles changing myself, and I'm not Director Harold. But, you know. Mark, I mean, I don't know if you have anything to say about that.
I don't see anything changing. I was looking at.
I want it to change, I want a work order system.
Yeah.
First change we need to do is a work order system, and you can make that happen.
Well, I'll go ahead and answer the question about special events. There will still be there's guys with expertise in this area, there's guys with expertise in that area. Those guys will still stay in their areas. So, Andy, for example, as a friend, I'm speaking to him, he's a carpenter. Why would I have him in a special event being a carpenter? Rick and Bill, they're doing this, so we want to keep that going just like it has. There won't be any change that you'll notice on that. Those guys will be more used to that. Rick and Bill are seldom used, they've been used a little bit here lately because of a little extra activity, but we try to use part-time people to help Randy and Jeff. The big events, yeah, we're all there. I mean, everybody's there for Riverfest, 4th of July, and those activities, just like as Councilmember Bivens said, snow, I mean, there's people who've been doing that for 100 years, and we'll take care of the snow like we always have. And I guarantee you, I may not be on that truck, but we'll have somebody that knows what they're doing to be on the truck.
And by
And
moving,
maybe the guy that has the expertise in that area.
by moving Michael to the city engineer, you know, last year alone, I think we paid out $86,000 in engineer service for the city on Island Avenue. His job will pay for itself, because we'll never have to hire an engineer again.
25% of his cost has been offset too.
Councilmember Brewster makes a great point because he points to the value add of having the city engineer position. And there's a tremendous regulatory gap there. When we took over the Planning Commission, Board of Zoning Appeals, and the Historic Zoning from the county, that stormwater ordinance didn't come with the county. And you will see this over the next 3-4 months. We will be introducing you new legislation for you to pass so that we can properly monitor this as a municipality.
The county provides that service currently, don't they, for the county?
It was something that was not brought in-house because we simply didn't have the regulatory framework, the legislation, or the expertise and staffing to cover it.
We just gotta build it.
But we have that opportunity to have that
I'm
expertise.
glad that you brought up planning, and I can't help but say this, even though I've really tried. Y'all remember when I got brutally attacked over saying we need a separate person for planning?
Me too.
Let it be known that it's being brought up now that we do need someone else for planning to assist.
Well, this is an engineer.
I found my,
This is an engineer, not a.
I know, but I was brutally attacked over that. There wouldn't be anybody else needed, and here we are today.
Well, that's one part of the job,
Right,
you know. That's not gonna be their sole.
but a very integral part of that position and reason for having it.
Any other questions? We've had a motion and second, and some good questions and discussions. Is there any other discussion before we vote on the creation of a facilities and maintenance department, and which would combine these two with the specifications that was listed and talked about? Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed?
Aye. No.
Okay. All right, next item is, I guess, amending the resolution number 2021, amending the pay classification adopted June 22nd, 2020 to establish the facilities and maintenance department.
Yes, you were provided by Director Brown with an outline of each and every position contained within the department. No one is harmed by this move. In fact, some are even helped so that when there was a misalignment in any sort of pay classification, that person was bumped, and they were bumped to the higher pay classification. Yes.
So this just piggybacks off what we just approved. So this is to amend the resolution to establish the Facilities and Maintenance Department, which there is a job description and everything placed in there.
I'll make a motion, we
We
accept
have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, any questions?
Wait, that's null and void. We already voted on that.
So,
City engineer is next.
Very good.
No, you haven't done the city engineer. You did the facilities maintenance in the department.
We did 4A, and
it. We
then
do B.
now we need to do
I
4B.
thought we were doing B.
Yes.
Now you may.
We do that?
4A passed. And
okay,
we need to vote on 4B.
okay, so it's just establishing the position of the city engineer.
Yes. Thank you.
We can take that same vote, Councilmember Dixon and, Councilmember Brewster, that's fine. We just wanna clarify.
I got you,
Just
okay.
need a vote.
What you're voting on, okay.
Yeah, because that was, the A's on the second page.
The A we already did.
Right.
A's done.
Right.
That passed 4-1.
Did you all just make a motion for 4B?
Well, we
I made a motion for B. I don't know what,
the position of the city engineer.
he explained it, B, A, right?
He explained the whole thing,
Yes.
explained the whole thing, and we voted on, A was on the next page, is one thing that, 4 is on one page, it takes the whole page, and then A is on the second page.
A is the resolution for, you have 2 resolutions under your facilities and maintenance department. The first one was the department itself, which is A.
Right.
And the second one is the city engineer position.
So I'll ask for a motion to amend, to establish the position of the city engineer.
So moved.
Do we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any questions, causing any confusion there? So the first one was 4-1 vote, and then this was, establishing the position of city engineer, which goes right along with that first one we just passed. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
One other thing we've got to mention on engineer, we got a lot of landfill issues going on too, that Michael can take care of those for us. You're supposed to mention that.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, we're paying an engineer to do that already.
We got our own now.
We're good.
okay,
Takes the road.
Item 5, amending resolution number 2021, the pay classification plan adopted June 22nd, 2020 to reestablish the position of codes enforcement officer.
Make that motion.
Manager Ross, you want to discuss that?
Yes, is a position within the fire department, code enforcement officer. This will greatly assist the department in its mission of carrying out public safety related to building inspection, permitting, as well as nuisance abatement.
Okay, we do have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We've discussed this, I think, different workshops and the thoughts behind this, and this would be some help to Travis, and would work under, I'm assuming work under Chief Brubaker, continue to work under him.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, any questions about that position? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Item 6 is amending the pay classification plan to provide for additional personnel in the police department.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we received this request from the police department. Chief Webb is here, and he's agreed to speak to it this evening. Simplest way to introduce it is this is the addition of 2 new officers, but it's also a reorganization of leadership, which he's going to speak to as well.
Okay, all right, Chief.
Well, first of all, I wanted to, inside the department, what Manager Ross referred to as leadership, is we have 3 sergeant's positions, and I'd like to get approved, to promote a couple of lieutenants. And so I've already run the numbers on those, it'd be like a 5% raise for those lieutenant's positions. most importantly, I feel like we're in a position where we're growing so fast, we need we need 2 more police officers.
So would you promote 2 people to sergeants to replace the 2 that you're requesting to be lieutenants, or would you
Yeah,
just
it would-
stay with 1
Yeah,
sergeant?
it wouldn't be adding numbers, with regards to the supervisors necessarily. You know, it'd just be promoting a couple of people that are in existing
Internal.
positions.
Okay,
But I was asking for 2 additional patrol officers, based on the growth that we're experiencing, right now and in the future. And then I've tried to provide a few numbers, but as I think all of you know, that the most latest census numbers that we have available to us right now are from 2010. And the census numbers that are gonna be released in August, we don't have yet. But I think we all know that we've had growth over the last 10 years. And whenever I look at the numbers, we have about somewhere around 2.8 police officers per 1,000 people based on 10-year-old numbers. And the uniform crime reports from 2019 are the most recent numbers that we can get. And there's a study there that tells us that municipalities with 10,000 or less are around 4.2 per 1,000. So taking into consideration, we realize there's already some growth, we're already behind. And so 2 police officers, I think added will be a big help to us. And I think the question for us to ask ourselves, whenever you think about numbers, there's 495 municipalities across the state of Tennessee. In 2015, we were ranked the safest city in the state of Tennessee. And since then, we stayed in the top 10. I don't think we've fallen below number 7. And so we're currently around number 7. And so I think the question you gotta ask yourself is, do we want to continue to stay up there, as one of the safest cities? Because we got more folks coming, and when you have more people, we're gonna need more police officers.
and I think we wanna maintain that status, if not improve it,
Eric, how many full-time do you have right now?
15,
How many part-time do you have?
we've got about half that many. And
How many
they're
employees do you
using
have
as
full-time right
needed.
now?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
How many do you have full-time?
Full-time 15.
So they would put 5 supervisors for 15 people?
No, sir, we're not gonna increase the number of supervisors, because, I'm sorry, Jim. Yeah, because we're converting 2 of the sergeant positions to lieutenants.
And then you're gonna have to promote 2 more to sergeant?
No, sir.
No,
you're just gonna go with 1 sergeant then.
Read this, the job description of the lieutenant, that sounds like a chief of police's job description,
well,
every one of them.
so lieutenant would be second in command to the police chief. So the job description is very similar.
Well, if we
Police
do
chief is
that,
totally administrative, so there are some things in there that are different.
So they would not be patrolling.
if we do that,
Lieutenants
what's gonna be your duties then?
What I've been doing for the last 17 years.
So why do we need 2 chiefs?
Well, we don't need 2 chiefs, I want 2 lieutenants.
Is it just not a glorified pay raise? Is that not what we're looking at?
I can see where you would feel that way, but no, I don't think so. Already, I've got, one of those sergeants that have taken on a lot of additional responsibilities. We've taken on the accreditation, and now, also we're putting those computers in the cars. And then all of these cameras, every car's got a camera, and every officer's wearing a camera. And every bit that you're talking about is the kind of thing that somebody has to, have a go-to person when there's an issue with it.
We just hired an IT guy for that.
Well, we won't have a full-time IT person in the police department. You still have to have somebody that is gonna be a go-between.
Okay, any other questions for Chief Webb to try to answer?
I can understand you wanting to move 1 up to be the second in command. as a lieutenant. And I don't understand why you're taking 2 sergeants away when you need those sergeants to continue staying where they're at.
Okay. Well, that's possible, we just promote one to lieutenant, and we can promote somebody to take that lieutenant's place as a sergeant, maintain 3 sergeants.
What about the detective? Wouldn't he be a good guy for second in command?
Yeah, that's a possibility too.
Ain't that the way it used to be?
Well, back when John Mills was chief,
We didn't have a detective, we had
yeah, the captain was the detective back when John Mills was chief, what was that, 25 years ago?
John, it was John and Bill Anderson,
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
then you had your sergeants.
Yeah, and then Kenny were the sergeants.
Any other questions?
I don't understand how did all that take place to be changed from that point?
From captains to,
Well,
Because you had an investigator, which was your captain, I guess you call
mm,
it, at that time. And then Bill Anderson took over, then you took over as the investigator.
yeah, I was the day shift sergeant and the night shift sergeant. Yeah, then we've added some positions, you know, in the last 17 years.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Who is it that you're wanting to move up?
I don't have anybody specific, I feel like we've got 4 people that would be qualified. And what I'd like to do, if I get approved for the positions, then the Human Resources Director here, Director Brown, and I will put it out and interview them, go through a process, and try to do what we feel like would be best for the job.
just like you would any other position you have.
Yes, sir.
So its main purpose tonight is just to establish the position, get approval for the position, and then you move forward with that process if it's approved.
And even if I'm approved for 2, maybe I do just promote one lieutenant. That might be the better course of action.
But along with this is also 2 police officers.
I definitely
In this
need to be a
request.
police officer because, I could go through, you all already know all the things that are coming, what we, since in the last 2 years, what all's been built. And I can only imagine what that census will tell us when we finally get it to August.
So it's,
Unfortunately, the theme of what we've heard here tonight is it doesn't matter really how much is being built or coming on, we don't need more employees to handle it.
You have one extra one now because when Kenny Ridings went down, we didn't think he was coming back. We went ahead and authorized you to hire another patrolman. Remember? Anybody remember?
I think we made a part-time, full-time, I think,
Yeah,
didn't we, Chief?
we did.
Yeah. Moving one up there.
So you're one up now.
Well, and that brings up another good point too, and I avoid talking about it, but we've got 15 full-time police officers. And 8 of those 15, 8 of us, out of the 15, have been around for 25 years. And a lot of lead time gets built up. Whenever somebody's been there for 20 years or longer, you build up to 30 days of vacation plus all the holidays. With that also being said, out of the 6 that are left, I've got 2 of those that'll have to take mandatory retirement, one next year and another one the year after that. And quite frankly, we need some young blood. We need some help in the police department. And public safety is a young man's game. I mean, that's why we have that mandatory retirement at age 60. And the fire department has already gone through a big transition. They've had folks over the last few years that's retired, and they've been able to replace them with younger folks. And we're getting ready to do something that happened, like I say, about 25 years ago. Most of y'all remember Chief Lennox and Chief Grimes and Jess and Dart and State and Crit and all those guys that I came up the line with Well, they all left at the same time, and when they did, you know, me and 7 other people came on about the same time. And now we're about to hit that transition again. So, really, you know, we need some infusion of some younger people in the police department.
I can see hiring one more patrolman for right now. I can see that. We did know we need 2 last year, that's the reason we went ahead
Done the
when
one.
Kenny went down. So if I can amend that, hire one more patrolman. Or add,
You can certainly make that an emotion, and I don't know what but you gotta also think about the lieutenant.
I can't support
I
that.
know you're talking about this one. I can support 2 police officers. I really can. Because you added that one, and then you add 2 more. You've got 3 shifts you gotta have personnel for. And that's adding at least 1 per shift in the last year and a half or so.
Yeah, we added that one, we have one extra right
I'm counting
now.
that one. And that would be 3. You've got 3 shifts, he does. And he has to have at least 1 per shift added. If not, then he needs 2 on evenings.
Yeah, but you got 15 full timers
I understand
for
that,
3 shifts.
I understand that. And I understand our growth in our city also.
Yeah.
You know, we've had quite a bit of growth in the last year or so. We're gonna have a lot more in 2 more years.
Along with that comes 2 cars.
So, I understand that.
Has anybody put a pencil on what this is gonna cost?
It's in the budget currently,
It's a lot of money.
and Nicole can probably answer that question.
Can you go
That's a
ahead?
lot of money.
There is, it is detailed in the budget.
Could you go ahead and just save us from looking it up? I've
The
seen it in there.
total appropriation to the police department is $180,000 for those 2 positions in the compensation package.
And that's not counting the cars.
No chemicals.
So, like I say, this is, budget request by the chief of police. It's his department, he manages. I mean, I don't think he'd be asking if he didn't feel like it was warranted. So, you know, he's the one with his hand on the pulse and knows what he needs in his department. So I guess it's up to council to take his budget request and either modify it or approve it or vote it down. I mean, he's went through the proper channels to make this request, and it's up to council to approve.
But I still don't understand the lieutenant position. It don't make sense. All that amounts to is pay raise.
Well, before I would vote on the final vote, I have to know who the lieutenant's gonna be. That's the bottom line. 30 days from now, I won't vote for it if it's not made public right there. Because I think Mr. Webb knows who he's gonna make right now as chief of police. I don't think he's going to go out in the country and try to find somebody chief of police that won't be chief of police, but I think he's gonna hire within, which is okay. But, there again, it's up to us to prove that, not to, we have no say in who we are. It's
But
just-
he's not looking for a chief of police.
Well, I know, but he's looking for a lieutenant, which is basically second command.
Yeah.
So if something happened, to pray we don't, it doesn't, but if something happens, he'd be the chief.
What do you do now, chief, with that? If you have to be away, who do you designate someone?
Well, those 3 sergeants, they've got 3
Okay.
squads, and so,
So they just divide it up?
if I'm going on vacation from, 7 AM to 3 PM, it'd be the day shift sergeant. From 3 PM to 11, it would be the evening shift sergeant, and on night shift, it'd be the night shift sergeant.
I just can't support it. I can see one, since where he gave one last year.
Okay, we just need to vote on it and, so they know what to do with the budget and,
Vote on this resolution, or do we
or
make
amend,
another,
or you
or
can,
amend the motion?
you can vote on this resolution, or you can propose it.
Well, I make a motion that we amend the resolution to hire 1 patrolman,
And what about the,
no lieutenants,
so addition of 1 patrol officer?
1 patrol officer.
Personnel schedule would be amended to add 1 additional patrol officer.
Do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion about that too? And what this motion does is add one police officer to current staff that Chief Webb has. Any discussion?
I definitely don't wanna turn down nobody for him to be able to add an officer. But we need to support 2 officers.
So right now, we have a motion and a second to promote one. So we need to vote on this motion. And, let's do a roll call vote, why don't we? Any other discussion before we vote?
I commend you, Bear, for taking care of your department.
Okay, go ahead.
Councilmember Brewster,
Aye.
Councilmember Vivens,
Aye.
Councilmember Dixon,
I'm stuck.
Right, at this point, it's one or nothing, I guess, right now.
You ask for a pass and this should come back to you.
Okay,
Councilmember James.
Aye.
Mayor Harris.
Aye.
Thank you. And that was to add one patrol officer, I just want to be clear.
Yeah, no lieutenants and one patrol officer.
okay. All right. Next item is amending resolution, the pay classification plan to establish the position of a downtown development coordinator.
This is resolution authorize amending the personnel schedule to add a part-time position of downtown development coordinator. This position would be funded from the courthouse square fund, and tax would take in Loudon through specific accreditation steps, becoming first to Tennessee downtown, and then ultimately a certified Main Street community.
Okay, this was discussed at the workshop. There is a job description right directly around in the packet here. If you want to take a second to look over that, that was handed out before the meeting. If anybody wants to take a minute to scan through that, we can certainly give you that. It's the first time I've seen it as well, as far as documented.
Is it just me, was there not a fireman listed on here before? Or did I just string that up?
A position of the fireman?
Yes.
I don't know, as far as it did, was that a request?
You'll have to hire one to replace
This is
the code guy.
this year's budget has the same number of firemen as last year's budget, but it does have an additional code enforcement officer.
So it's
Okay, maybe that's what I saw,
Yeah.
under the fire department.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's basically just transferring.
okay, sorry, just had a,
Okay.
this just dawned on me, sorry.
Okay, so, Manager Ross explained that, we talked about it at the workshop. What's the pleasure of council to establish the position of downtown development coordinator? Do I have a motion to establish this position?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman James, I have a second.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions?
I finish.
Okay, yeah, sure. Again, as Manager Ross pointed out, this money will be coming from the courthouse square grant fund, not the general fund.
There's nothing in here. I know we talked about this person could write our own grants, but there's nothing in the summary about grant writing in the job description.
Well, the idea would be for this person to write grants out of the courthouse square, restructure that program, whether it be the facade grant or sign grant or awning grant, administer those programs as well.
Yes, where our merchants would apply for grants
Yes.
for that funding.
Are we still looking at $30,000?
What's in the budget is what, 36, wasn't it?
It's $30,000
Oh.
plus the taxes.
Oh, okay.
33,000.
Okay,
The
so
annual
it's 30.
impact.
Wow.
How much is left in the courthouse square fund?
Current balance, $685,000. And with projected revenue less the position, it would be $733,000 at the end of next year.
That's projected
Projected.
based on
We,
sales tax.
we receive $150,000 a year
Pretty
in
regular.
sales tax for that program.
How many hours a week are they gonna be required to work?
But there'd be a cap on the number of hours in the part-time position. So mainly it's organizing, merchants into a board, so that, programs can be, established and recommended, and to be spent and funded through the courthouse square.
Is it gonna be structured like the LMPOA was? Because that was a disaster.
I mean, there would have to be a board established, and that's the evolution of the position. Actually, Main Street requires a board.
Yeah.
So, that will come together and be vetted with this body.
And Main Street requires a director as well, I guess.
Yes.
Could we amend the pay?
Guess you can do whatever you want, yeah.
You are the decision makers.
It's totally up to
You probably
this.
will serve as a director of downtown. That's what
Yeah,
I
that would be the
foregone
goal.
conclusion.
Right, that would be the goal. But I mean, it's certainly up to this body to set the salaries schedule if you want to.
But downtown is booming so well right now. I hate to get some kind of board in there and screw it all up. Because merchants are taking care of themselves downtown right now.
I'm a downtown business owner.
Could you understand that they're doing good, but they could do better? Can you understand that? Were you ever in the 4-H club? Well, their motto was, to do, make the best better. And I think we can make it a lot better than what it is. And right now, I don't know what the Monkey Times bar will do, but I got a feeling it's really gonna hurt some people downtown, at least for a while, because they're established in different towns around this country. And it's Chattanooga and Cleveland being, and of course down where they're from. So they're gonna have quite a following, I'm almost sure. The only thing I have a problem with is, I hope that the lease and everything is concrete with the Southern Railway, because Southern Railway's got a pass saying, get out, I've gotta have it, and they not do anything with it.
Yeah, we've corrected that.
Yeah, I hope so, because I've known them do it to some people, so.
My concern is as a downtown business owner, I can't imagine being a business owner in West End or 72 and seeing this on an agenda for my city. And how that would make me feel when I go through downtown and it's full and there's nobody up here. And I thought that was one of the things that when we came on as council, that we were going to get rid of the 3 sections of Loudon. None of us like that. It's all or none.
Well, like I say, with these courthouse square, I mean, that's determined by, that
Right.
division's been set by the state, not us, but.
Right, but for the city to
Yeah.
put
Single it
money
out.
towards someone to just focus on downtown, that's not quite fair. I said the city's gonna do that, and we appoint someone to West End, we appoint somebody to 72.
Can I say something?
Sure. Kevin, go ahead.
I mean, I know that the business at night is doing really good, and I'm glad. But in the day, it is dead. If we get someone down there to work, part of her job will be to get events down there. Hopefully soon we get the courthouse fixed. And her job will be to have people down there, music during the day. At night, you're right, I mean, I drive through down there and it gets booming, or I go down there and it's booming. But in the day, it's not, Tammy.
Yeah, but see,
I mean, do
we
you
have
feel
to,
it is?
we have to answer to the people with businesses up here. We have to answer to Romeo's, we have to answer,
We
you know,
do,
to the flower
but
shops.
they have a grant down there. And that's where this is coming from.
Mhm.
We're very lucky, in fact, I mean, the person that got this grant for us did an excellent job. And maybe we'll get more grants for somewhere else.
And
I hope we do.
another reason that I have an issue with is we have a lady who has worked extremely hard in downtown Loudon for the merchants, and she has done so much for
She has.
everyone.
She has done an
And she's in
excellent job.
tears because evidently this position has already been appointed to someone. And
Oh, you
she
mean
is very
Sandy,
upset.
what wanted to be,
Well, no one was given the,
She was doing it, not getting paid. She's doing it every day.
she doesn't want pay for it, but she's doing the
but
work with
Sandy
no
can do the
recognition.
computer like she's doing, but she cannot communicate with the community.
So who is the person that's, who is it?
I don't know. I don't guess we know yet.
Yeah,
And
we
maybe
know.
Sandy, if she applies, she may get the job, I don't know. But I know Sandy very well. And she cannot take that job, and you know her too. She does a great job on the computer.
I think this job has been promised to someone. No resumes have been submitted. You know, if we're gonna do it, you advertise it, do it properly,
Well, it would have to be advertised, and I think that's,
but not $30,000 a year.
well, that's the, it can be, it can
Let's
be
just vote on
modified.
it, you put argument on it, okay?
And that,
Good idea, Johnny.
you know, we need to vote, well, this is, I mean, Manager Ross brought it up to this body for the decision to be made, so we can approve it, we have a motion and a second, we can. So right now, the motion is to, and second is to establish this position at the current rate.
We don't even have a motion to say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we do.
we did,
We do?
Councilmember James and Councilmember
Okay.
Dixon, both are seconded.
Yes, that's
So-
correct.
I was asleep.
That motion has a salary of $30,000. If that needs to be amended,
I need to withdraw the motion.
they'd have to withdraw it, yeah. Or,
Or
I
take
mean-
a vote.
okay.
Where would this person's office be?
We have not worked out the details of any office space for any of the positions that we've discussed this evening. I think all that's premature. Once we get to the budget year, we'll figure out those details.
Location. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion before we vote?
We're voting to pay $30,000.
That's
the motion and second.
that's the resolution that's presented with that amount is in the budget, and that's the motion and second that's been, is that your understanding, Johnny and Tim that made the motions
I understand.
at that salary
I did.
raise? Okay,
That's what we do.
just make sure that you knew the motion. Okay? All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion before we vote? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye, I'll vote for it. Any opposed?
No.
Okay. Motion carries 3-2 to establish this position. Next item is assurance of adequate funding level of the self-funded health benefit plan.
Yes, we, through our exploration of this issue with the benefit committee, we're recommending a 3% increase to employer contribution levels to the self-funded healthcare fund. We project that this could take the fund balance back over $1 million.
That's good.
I make a
This-
motion.
This is something that I think we've
I'll
discussed
second.
before, that hadn't been increased in a while, so.
Been at least 11 years,
Right.
or last year.
Okay, have a motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor of 3% increase, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, amending the pay classification plan to modify part-time positions.
There's
Mr. Ross?
a couple things going on here. We have not, over the past several years, in performing cost of living adjustments, modified the hourly wage rate for part-time employees for the city of Loudon. This is different, this does that. So this recommends a 3% COLA for full-time wage earners and an additional $2 across the board for part-time wage earners.
Okay, it's a pleasure of council.
I'll make a motion, we accept that.
Second.
Have a motion second by Councilmember James. Any questions? This is for part-time positions.
Very much needed.
And
No, it's actually across the board.
Oh, okay,
The
includes
difference, the
part-time.
difference in the past, it did not include part-time.
Okay, all right, thanks for that clarification. So it's everyone including part-time.
Right.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item 10 is acknowledge the TCRS effective rate of July 1st, 2021.
Make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second. As everyone knows, we're paying more than what the state requires. But, we're able to do that. Any questions or discussions about that? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay. Last item of resolution is approving the lease agreement with Norfolk Southern Railway Company. And we did get this late this afternoon. You do have it in your packet. I apologize if it didn't get emailed to you, but we didn't have, it came late afternoon.
It came late, it was what we expected, it's their standard lease form, the same as what covers the depot property. About 14 pages in length, and it includes reference to this map showing the impacted areas. The initial rent, and it rises with an inflation or CPIs, you might call it, but it does give us the immediate privilege of tearing down the dilapidated building.
That's what generated this discussion.
Behind the theater.
We've been, Manager Ross, myself, and Jack Paul have been working on this with the railroad for over a year. It would give us access to that parking area up there at the top as well, for Monkey Town or the theater or any additional parking that's needed. And it would give us, we could take immediate action on the building.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second, motion second to approve the lease agreement, Norfolk Southern, for that property. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. I appreciate everybody's comments and collaboration. There's a lot there, a lot of resolutions, but I think after discussing it with Director Curtis and Manager Ross, I think it's important that we just take them all individually and,
So our budget passes on first reading.
This has been very helpful. This has been very helpful, and we appreciate your feedback on all these items. I did detect some disappointment that we didn't maybe do more in terms of personnel and adding headcount. Please note that we feel we are currently managing the various city services appropriately. Our biggest problem is when someone is out on vacation or sick. It's a scheduled leave, and we're backfilling that with part-time help. We feel that we feel again that we're managing those service areas, but please don't take it from me as a refusal, to add personnel. This body is. I'm not going to refuse the addition of personnel. If you would like to add headcount sua sponte to a various department, we're happy to receive that. I'm not going to deny that request. It's appreciated, but again, this is based on feedback from the department heads. We do feel that we are managing it appropriately at this time.
And I think the department heads, they bring the appropriate request to our attention and what they feel like they need. And I think it's up to this body to listen to them like we have and then ultimately make a decision. So.
It's easy to hire. It's hard to go the other way.
So, I mean, a lot of business has been transacted tonight, and I appreciate everybody's collaboration and decisions we've made tonight. Department reports. Councilmember Bivens, you have anything you want to report on, solid waste or?
Saw the purchase with Republic buying Santec has went through. They are now the majority carrier for Santec. I heard no issues with that transition as to date. Everything is staying the same.
I guess there's some discussion about, do we want to be in the landfill business? I guess that was some discussion that was.
There is some discussion on that. It was brought to us by a citizen. He spoke 45 minutes and that was his final conclusion is, does the commission want to stay in the landfill business? That is evidently going to be up for discussion. It was not voted on to put it on any agendas here, and it was not voiced that they wish for me to do that. But that is something that if this council, if this staff does so choose that is something they're interested in, I would suggest getting a proposal and getting it to the Loudon County Solid Waste Commission.
All right, anything else? Okay. Vice Mayor Dixon, you have anything to?
Only thing I have is the historic zoning. Thomas and Rhonda Blue came to the zoning commission and wanted to paint their building. They are no longer in the business for antiques, so we approved for them to paint their building and start trying to change and modify that as far as what type of business they do that.
And remove some signage, I guess.
Yeah, they changed some signs, gonna change more.
Is that the one that had the riverboat on it?
Yeah, and I think.
Yeah, they've already painted it.
Yeah, and I
Yeah, they
think
painted it.
I think they even found some structural damage with it,
Yeah.
as far as it wasn't primed correctly, it was tore away from the wall. There was some issues, I guess, upon further investigation of it.
Yeah.
So, okay, anything else?
That's all.
Councilmember James, you have anything to report on?
Just a couple of things.
Okay.
I would like to thank the city for parallel parking downtown. You know, they said we're gonna have it and we've got it. And also I would like to compliment Mr. Ross, because looking at this, I know it took you a long time to get it down like it is. And I thank you about knocking the ball out of the park, honestly. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Councilmember Brewster?
I agree with Johnny. Diane and Nicole did an excellent job this year. Made it easy for everybody.
I think the best way to do it is lay it out there where we can all explain it and see it and make the right decisions. So, if you have any reports that you need to come from you,
No, sir.
okay? We have a few anniversaries, in the utilities, Etta Dame, 4 years, gas, water, and sewer. Everett Beatty, 6 years in the water department. Adam Cook, 7 years electric. And then the two long-termers that was recognized in the LUB meeting, Brian Curtis, 27 years electric department, and then Kent Everett, 39 years water department. He had to be hired right out of high school.
Yeah.
Or something. I mean, anyway, he was 39 years. Slow month in the city, we had one hire, Brody Houston, 3 years public works. So that's the only
He's still
city
baby.
employee. It's the only city employee we
Yeah.
had hired in May. And that probably ties into the budget cycle as far as, in years past, as far as the budget. So, any other closing comments from
I got one
council?
more, got
Okay,
birthdays for the city and LUB. Administration, Stephanie Lawhon, May the 22nd. Fire department was Anastasia Fisher, May the 28th. Sean Fox, May the 10th. Josh Kerr, May the 12th. James Russell, May the 7th. Public Works with Greg Dowdy, May the 1st. Cody Manus, May the 22nd. The electric department, Adam Cook, May the 25th. Robert Henry, 2nd, May the 10th. The gas department, John Davis, May the 11th. And Chad Johnson, May the 16th. That's all.
okay. Happy birthday to all those. Okay, the department reports. Chief Webb, you have anything else?
No report.
Okay, Director Brown?
No, sir.
Okay, Michael, Hogan, do you have any?
I'd like to give a couple dates that we're just starting to receive as formal schedules for Queen. They're gonna be mobilizing this week. You'll start seeing some signage out. We're working, have a traffic plan in place. There'll be message boards to notify vehicles of what detours will be. Those will likely be, if you're coming down 72 towards 11, we'll be routing you onto River Road to hit the north side of Queener. And going the other way down 72 towards the interstate, if you can't get onto the side of Queener that you need to be on, we'll take you down Corporate Park Drive and that one there. That signage you'll start to see, and they'll be mobilizing some equipment for that.
Okay.
Other thing I'd like to say is, Mark and I have already been discussing our commitment to make these changes a positive thing. We look forward to working together. We do that a lot already. And I'm committed to the guys at Public Works to continue some progress that we've made there. And I think that what I see in council is growth and growing pains that we're all trying to elevate. I think that while there's still progress to be made, I think, from a relatively new person, it's good to see that we're all kind of working towards that. And I'm still committed, if there are any other changes, I have an open door. I know Ty has mentioned it already, that we're here to serve, and are open to suggestions.
Thank you, Mike.
Has the bids went out for this year's paving?
Not yet, sir.
You got a timeline on that?
I'm hustling as fast as I can.
Thank you, Director Harrell.
Yes, I'd like to just add what Michael said there. It's actually a blessing to work for this council in this city. We probably live in the best area there is in the world, not just in the state of Tennessee. It's a blessing to work with these young men that are here putting their line on the line every night. It's ours. Other work, you guys got your hands full trying to handle it. But our job is to try to make the best decisions if we can, to make the job the best that it can be. And nothing's gonna change overnight. And we guarantee that we're gonna work hard to make it better for everyone. And it's a commitment. When Manager Ross talked to me about this, it was like, wow, where did this come from? It came from about 1997. And that's when this sales tax thing was thought of and how to use that money. And things just kind of went haywire in the next 10 years. So I think we're on the right track. There's a lot of things, as Councilmember Bivens said here, there's a lot of things we have to look at. It's not gonna happen overnight. Get some time. Michael and I are committed. Brian, Andy, all these guys are committed to make this thing happen. So thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Thank you, Mark. Tay, Chief Harvey, you have anything since you represent? You good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nicole?
Thank you for the budget resolutions. I have to say, Michael, thank you for your team. We have additions to the meeting room. So
I think
we
Andy
don't
skipped
put
out
on
on
this
this.
side anymore. This line. Thank you for your team. I think
It's already
Andy
followed.
Jason, that's what he said.
Andy and Jason,
Did a fantastic job on that.
Sean and Kenny are two still guys that do a lot too.
They just, we said we need blinds, they came in and took care of it. And Councilman James and Brucey, this was a heavy agenda, very intensive, but I have to thank Negan because 4 ordinances and 12 resolutions was a marathon of typing.
Yeah.
She actually planned for 2 days out of the office. I don't think she'll ever do that again.
Fine. Teamwork.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I think everybody appreciates the work that was put in and
It's a.
recognize it was a lot of work for a lot of people. Manager Ross, you have anything else before we close?
Yeah, thank you for your help thus far with this budget. I consider this the equivalent of the reorganization of the utility that we accomplished a few years back. So efficiencies will be gained, and it's going to work out the best, we think, for everyone involved. Just a courtesy reminder, your June regular meeting is the 21st.
Right, that'll be. thank you for that, making that accommodation to everyone, so I can attend that meeting. Chip wanted me to announce the Memorial Day service will be at the courthouse at 10 a.m. on Memorial Day, and it'll be broadcast on 96.1 WLNT, and the video will be, is it gonna be streaming live on Let's Connect?
No live there. It'll
Okay.
be recorded for Facebook or for YouTube later.
Okay, so that'll be at the courthouse lawn, I guess in front, I guess there, Memorial Day, 10 o'clock. Okay, if all minds are clear, we'll be adjourned. Thank you all.
Yeah.